realized this shirt would make it look like I'm not wearing a shirt, but I'm wearing a shirt. Hi guys, it's Mad. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new. And if you are new, make sure you click that subscribe button to become a part of the trendiest place on the internet. It has been the craziest week of my life. I signed a lease for an apartment in New York City, and my excitement, my gratitude is like through the roof. I literally cannot explain it. Since the pandemic, I have had to leave the city. I've been stuck at home in upstate New York. Just don't belong in the suburbs. It's not for me. It's not who I am, and I've been struggling. Me and Jack went on our long-awaited New York City apartment hunt this past weekend, and I wanted to share my experience with you guys, especially if you guys are looking to move to New York City. It is one hell of a process. So I thought I would show you guys all the apartments we looked at, let you guys know which one we picked and why we picked it, what we were looking for, how to apartment hunt in New York City, literally everything about apartments in New York City. So if you are interested in that, or you just want to see some cool apartments that we looked at, let's get into the video. And a little disclaimer, I know for a lot of people, New York City is overpriced, not worth the money, super expensive, which I mean, you're not wrong, it's super expensive to live there. But for me, this is something that I have wanted my entire life. I also go to college in the city, so for me, this is just my life, my decision. So if you don't agree with paying an astronomical amount for rent to live in New York City, you don't need to watch this video. The X is somewhere around. At the end of the day, everyone has a different path in life, and this is mine. But if you do want to see, then let's just get started with my New York City apartment hunt. I'm just going to begin by talking a little bit about the New York City apartment market. It is very different from anything else ever. In New York, you have to be on your toes, girl. You have to move so quick when it comes to apartment hunting in New York City. So because things move so fast, you really want to be ready with your paperwork and your documents and all the stuff you're gonna need to basically get to the point of signing the lease. You also just need to be ready to sign the day of or the next day. It's not one of those situations where you could see an apartment and then wait a few weeks to decide, if anything else comes up. It's kind of like the day of. When you see an apartment that you like, you have to jump on it, or the likelihood of you being able to get the apartment is pretty low. The unit would remain on the market until a lease was signed. So we could do all the application stuff, and somebody could do it just a little faster and get that apartment before we did. So it was very intense, to say the least. Another thing to remember about New York City apartment hunting is that you are literally paying for location. We looked at so many different apartments in many different locations, and the prices were so different based off of where they were. We would get more space moving downtown than we would being in SoHo. You would get less space and it would be more expensive. If you're working with a particular budget, you definitely should be open to looking in other neighborhoods that maybe you weren't open to looking for before, which is something that we learned and we definitely had to make adjustments with. Another thing to keep in mind is bedroom pricing. So we were initially looking for a 2-bedroom apartment. There were 1-bedroom apartments that were huge. They were way bigger than some of the 2-bedroom options we looked for, and they had alcove bedrooms that we could convert into a 2-bedroom. So you would be paying for a 1-bedroom versus a 2-bedroom, but still have the flexibility to have that 2nd bedroom. It's a really good deal because you're basically getting 2 bedrooms for the price of a 1-bedroom. I wish that was something I knew going into apartment hunting, because we were so set on only looking at 2 bedrooms. If you think you're set on a 2-bedroom, maybe look into a 1-bedroom flex, because they are more affordable. Affordable in quotations, by the way. Anytime I say affordable in this video, put it in 9,000 quotations, because New York City is not affordable by any means, and I don't want y'all thinking that I actually think it's affordable. I feel like I'm gonna have to make that disclaimer a million times in this video. Okay, so if it's possible, I know this is really hard right now because of current situation of the world, that one virus that's going around. It's kind of hard for people to travel, and if people are traveling, you don't want to put yourself in a compromised this situation. But if it is possible for you to travel, I would 1,000,000% recommend going to see the units in person. You can use Street Easy all you want. Photography is magical. You can make a place look way bigger, way brighter in a picture than you can in real life. So I am definitely glad that we saw some of the units I saw on Street Easy in person, because they were not the same as the pictures I saw. Some buildings will require a security deposit of 1 month rent. So usually you'll put your application in, you'll put a security deposit down. If you don't get accepted, that will obviously be refunded to you. Be ready to have accessibility to 1 month's rent. Another thing to remember is that you do need to have a salary of 40 times the monthly rent to basically be approved for an apartment. And I know that's crazy. All right, so now that all that stuff is out of the way, all the technical stuff, so let's get into me and Jack's wish list for our apartment. The main thing that we were looking for was in-unit laundry. That was the #1 non-negotiable. We were definitely willing to settle for in the building laundry if everything else met our needs. Basically, that was our one necessary thing that we really wanted, and obviously that is striking gold in New York City, but we basically filtered all of our searches to have in-unit laundry. We were also looking in the Chelsea area because that's where FIT is, or somewhere in between FIT and where Jack goes to school, but he goes to school on the other side of Manhattan. So we either wanted something that was closer to FIT or somewhere in the middle. Like I said earlier, we wanted a 2-bedroom, but we were definitely willing to look for 1-bedroom or 1-bedroom flexes depending on the size, because we definitely needed an office space. We also wanted something that was within a 10-minute walk to a grocery store, and we wanted to be near a subway station. And then some bonuses that we wanted were a bathtub, a dishwasher, and a balcony. Obviously knew we were not gonna get all 3 of those, maybe not even one of those, but those were just some things that we kept in mind when we were looking. Like, we would take note of that, like, oh, this one has a bathtub, because me and my baths, girl, I take a bath every night. Things that we didn't really care much for or weren't willing to pay extra for were a lot of the building amenities, like gyms, pools, common workspace areas. So something I did want to mention that made our apartment hunt a little bit different from the other ones I've seen on YouTube is that we actually used a broker, and what's really nice is that the New York City apartment buildings, a lot of them pay for the broker's fee. So he took us around all day in the city, showed us a bunch of different places, helped us negotiate prices, gave us a lot of information, and it was really, really helpful for us. I have heard so many people say that having a broker is just too expensive, it's not worth it, but in my personal experience, I think it was the best decision. It was so helpful for us. I know that's not everyone's experience. That was mine personally, and I think it was really, really helpful for us. With all of that being said, let's get started looking at the apartments that we viewed this weekend. And we'll start with the first apartment that we saw. So this first apartment was in East Village, and personally, this one didn't sit right with me from the second we walked in the building. The building was very creaky, very old. The building just didn't give me a good vibe when I walked in. Now the apartment itself is really beautiful. It has these really nice dark wood floors. The view is really nice. It's pretty bright. This building was a 2-bedroom. It had air conditioning. The bathrooms were really nice. I loved that there was a window in this first bathroom, and I loved that marble tile flooring, and it had a bathtub, which was amazing. I loved these double windows in the master bedroom. It didn't have the most closet space ever, and the kitchen was a little bit dark because it was kind of like right as you walk into the unit, but overall it was a really nice unit. It also had a dishwasher, so it had a lot of stuff that we were looking for, but the building itself I did not love. Think like a really long dark hallway with like one light bulb in the middle. It was just a little creepy. The building itself was very, very, very hot as well, but something wasn't sitting right for me. It wasn't necessarily a no, but it also wasn't the one. So this next unit was in Soho, and something about it charmed me. I absolutely loved this unit. It was pretty out of our budget, and also there was no laundry in the unit. This had in-building laundry, which, like I said, is fine, but for the price, this one was the most expensive one that we actually looked at, and it didn't have a lot of the stuff that we needed. I loved that it had an actual wood fireplace. I thought that was amazing, and this view from the living room window was so stunning. It let in so much natural light, and it also had the wall AC units. The kitchen was really nice. It was definitely not the most modern, but it still was really just, it was a cute little small kitchen, and I loved that it had that island space. The bathrooms they were okay. I mean, they were bathrooms. They had bathtubs, which I thought was great. They were pretty small, but you know, it's in Soho. It's a really beautiful, popular area that's kind of expensive, so you can't expect to get the most for your money here. This is the guest bedroom, and it has a nice closet, really bright big windows. There's also a hall closet. The master bedroom had the tiniest bathroom ever. You could barely move in it, and I think how we would have done it is Jack would have taken one bathroom as his, and I would have taken one as mine. I did like that there were 2 bathtubs, not the most closet space, but I think the thing I really loved about this one was the natural light. It had rooftop access, and it was the most beautiful view I have ever seen in my life. I didn't get any footage of it because I was literally just breathtaking. It had a full gym and a laundry room in the basement. It also had a private terrace area for the tenants, which I thought was beautiful. This was towards the top of our list. We really loved the area. We really loved the apartment, give or take the little things. However, the main thing that made me say no to this apartment, besides how expensive it was, the floorboards were literally like caving in, and between the bottom of the floor, of the wall molding and the floor, there were gaps, and New York is notorious for roaches, rats, mice, all of that good stuff, and I just felt like it was a recipe for disaster. This next unit was in Bowery-ish. I can't remember exactly where this one was. I did not get the exact address, unfortunately. The building was kind of off this little alcove on the road, so it wasn't directly on the road. You had to walk down the sidewalk. It was kind of behind this elementary school or like a daycare, so there was a huge playground with a bunch of kids, and it had a view of the water. There was a lot of things I loved about the actual unit, but I think the location for this one was the reason that we didn't choose it, because it was just so incredibly far from what we needed. Having the elementary school right there, you could literally hear kids screaming from the apartment. So we looked at this unit, and immediately I fell in love with it. When I tell you I thought this was the one, I still, in my head, I'm like, should I have gone for that even though the location wasn't the best? The units are beautiful, but the building itself did not seem well kept at all. So that was something else I kept in mind. So you walk in, it has these beautiful hardwood floors. It is so bright and open. You have in-unit laundry. You have massive bathtubs and these beautiful renovated bathrooms. The kitchen is so beautiful. It has a dishwasher and a balcony with a water view. I just could not get over that it had everything on our bonus list. It has this really big closet in the hallway, and this bedroom, oh my gosh, the view is just stunning. And the other bathroom also has a massive bathtub. I think for me, the lighting was just so uplifting. The main thing with this one was how out of the way it was, how far it was, and how loud it was. The next unit that we looked at was kind of in, from what I'm remembering, I don't have all the addresses to these, which sucks, but this one was kind of in East Village. This one was also beautiful, but was kind of out of our price range. They were renovating the entire unit. The views were impeccable. It had a window in the kitchen, which I thought was really nice. It had a dishwasher, it had this beautiful bar space, so much closet space. I mean, this apartment was huge. It had really nice renovated bathrooms. I didn't love that marble countertop, but I don't really care. It was so beautiful. The amount of just light being let in and the view of the Empire State Building was so amazing. It had a bathtub, and the master bedroom's closet was unreal. It had all these like organizers in it. The view was so stunning. It had just so much space, but there was no laundry, which, like I said, that was our number one thing. And there was no air conditioning either. For being out of our price range, I just could not justify not having two things that were kind of big on our list. This next unit was actually in the same building. It was just a second story unit. That would mean that we would hear a lot of street sounds, but that's okay. It's part of the charm of living in New York. So you walk in, there is a closet, which was pretty nice. It is such a beautiful open living space. Definitely not as bright as I would love it to be, but having that outdoor little space is so nice. I loved this little dining alcove off of the kitchen, and I loved this walk-through kitchen style as well. They were updating all of the appliances. It was a pretty bright kitchen. They had 2 bedrooms in this unit with good closet space in each and windows, so it was pretty bright. There was a bathroom which had a bathtub and a window. I don't know why I love like having windows in the bathroom. The closet was awesome because it had 2 closets in the master. But like I said, this building was really expensive. No laundry in unit and no air conditioning. So that brings us to the next building that we looked at, which is, I think, where I'm gonna end the video on these 2 units. So we looked at 2 units in this building. Both were very, very different. I'm not gonna give the location of this building because, hint, hint, we may or may not have put an application on this one. I will fill you in at the end. This first unit was pretty high up. I think it was on the 26th story. It had these beautiful floor to ceiling windows which let in so much light. Now, you walk through the living room into this kitchen, and I loved the countertop in the kitchen. It also had in-unit laundry, and it just had so much natural light, high ceilings, so much space. It had 2 bathrooms, one with a bathtub. And these beautiful bay style windows with, once again, lots of closet space. I was just such a huge fan of this little corner with the floor to ceiling windows. It was so beautiful. And the unit, like having this big counter with the bay window in the kitchen, is just something that I would literally love to wake up to every morning when I'm making my coffee. It was almost perfect. Almost perfect, except it did not have 2 bedrooms and it did not have the capability to make 2 bedrooms or an office space. So I don't think we would have much room for 2 desks, and Jack has this extremely big like L-shaped desk. So we thought, you know, maybe we could flex somewhere and turn it into a 2-bedroom. The only place that they would be able to flex was where they had those floor to ceiling windows, and we would have no outlets. There just wasn't a lot of practicality, and it would have been such a small second bedroom. Yes, it was beautiful, and it was actually one of the cheaper apartments that we saw, but it just wasn't gonna give us what we needed for our specific space. So that brings us to the last unit I'm going to talk about in today's video. This one was in the same building, and when you walk in, there's just this huge entryway hallway with super high ceilings. It had washer and dryer in unit. It had a half bath with just like a toilet and a sink, and these massive storage closets. You walk into this kind of like living area with these beautiful really high bay windows. Now the thing is, these were, I think they were west facing windows, so they weren't getting the most natural light in the world. The living space was huge. The bedroom was so beautiful. The closet was amazing. It had a bathtub. It had some storage space in the bathroom. The kitchen was stunning. It was just like this little square alcove off of the hallway. It had a dishwasher, beautiful white cabinets with black accents. And though this one was a 1-bedroom, it had another like huge space that you would use as just like a dining area. The main thing with it is that it didn't have any windows, so it was like a little bit dark. I don't know, the second we walked in there, we instantly knew that like that was our place. It was so practical for what we needed, and it was the cheapest one that we saw and the absolute most space because they are pricing it as a 1-bedroom. It was just perfect. The second we walked in, we both like looked at each other and we were like, this is it. And for the rest of the day when we were apartment hunting, we were comparing every single unit we saw to this one. So we applied that night. We got accepted and we are moving in July. I am so beyond excited and so grateful to have found such a gem for such a great price, and oh my god, it's perfect. I love it. So that kind of concludes this video, guys. I hope that this helped you in your apartment hunt if you are apartment hunting, or it was just fun for you to watch because these videos, I am like, literally I'm so addicted to them. Please give it a thumbs up. This took so much time to make. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching and have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye guys!